Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Two Shot Tuesday. We're doing things a little differently. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, we're there for you. You can also check us out now on YouTube in our video podcast. My name's Jason Riley. With me, as always, Barry T. Nixon. Barry, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jay. Thank you for having me, as always.
You are a co-host.
I am co-host. This is very unique and very different. We finally decided to adopt video, which is kind of neat. Many, many years after our competitors did so, but that's okay. You know, it's better to be late to the party than not be there at all, and we're happy to be here.
Some might say it is a fashionably late entrance that we are making to the party. And now that people have already settled down, they've picked the podcast that they want to watch on YouTube. Here we come as one extra, not something you need to choose, just something you can work in. And we, as you like to say, are a podcast you can listen to and now watch on your break. So thank you, listeners and viewers. I hope you'll join us as we explore this new realm together. Let's see how it goes. Barry, we have a format here. We do two shots, no more, no less, every single episode, and we talk about the news of the day, headlines only for the most part, which we'll get to a little bit later on. And of course, huge updates. We've got a big update for our listeners and viewers about a recent hang that we had at the mini mansion. But shall we do shot number one?
Let's do it.
What do you got?
Jay, it's our favorite, and I'm going to continue to say that. It is Jameson Triple Triple. What have you got, brother?
Well, we sync up on this shot right here. Jameson Triple Triple. Thank you for gifting it to me at the mini mansion during your last visit.
It's a singular honor and a pleasure, my friend. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Let's describe that, because sometimes we like to describe it. How are you feeling about that shot?
Ooh, fantastic. It's got that warm, buttery, it hugs the throat as it goes down, if I may.
Hug. That's what I was going to say. Hug.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear often, and if you're tuning in for the first time, Jason is a very unique individual in that sometimes his shots will bypass the tongue altogether.
Yeah.
Is that what happened this time around, Jay? Or
No, in fact, it hugged and it swirled around, a double shot on the tongue and then down. Pretty
Beautiful.
Impressive. Yeah. Okay.
I love it.
What do you want to start with?
Well, we should probably update our listeners on our hang, because that was pretty great. But let's talk first about the movie we watched, Kingpin. You've never seen it before. I've seen it many times. I still laughed. For me, the jokes held up. Jay, what was your thoughts on Kingpin, starring Woody Harrelson, Randy Quaid, and Bill Murray?
I absolutely loved this movie. I've never seen it before. It was a lot of fun. It was a great runtime. Woody Harrelson, a hell of an actor. You really appreciated it. We talked about it as the movie was playing. I think that Woody Harrelson showed his chops. He had something to prove. He was coming off Cheers, coming off a few other movies that he had just started. And he was holding his own against Bill Murray, and who I would say phoned in their performance, Randy Quaid. I would say Randy got left behind in a lot of the scenes. I think he was the bigger star coming in, and he might have taken it that way. That's what I'm kind of imagining. And so I think I threw out a whole bunch of other not younger, but other actors that would have done well in that role. I just don't think Randy was as interested in that role. So that's how I left it. But Woody Harrelson was incredible. I thought he just dug in to what could have been a throwaway role if he had kind of played it with the same energy as Randy Quaid. I think he did the heavy work holding a lot of that movie together.
Yeah, I'd agree. He really did show his chops, because there were some scenes there that were pretty emotional. He had to it wasn't just him being a clown the whole time, and it wasn't just one-liner after one-liner. There was some actual emotional moments in this movie. But the comedy, he's just so good at it. He truly is. He's able to do those deadpan deliveries that are just hysterical. And I mean, the one scene that we did take a moment to laugh a little longer was when he returns to his hometown. He looks like absolute hell, and he turns over to the woman in the front seat and just, how do I look? And he looked terrible. It was just the worst, but just the way he delivered that line, it was just so hilarious. And I mean, that's what you get with Woody, man. He's an absolute pro. I'll watch anything with him.
What did you think about Randy Quaid's performance in the episode? or
Yeah, I
episode in
mean,
the movie.
yeah, I share some of what you said, but I don't think he was woefully left behind. I think that just that character was a little bit more infantile. He was kind of like an adult baby being released into the world for the first time, being that the Amish character. So I think that was maybe part of it. Maybe you didn't like that aspect of it, but I don't know. I thought he was good. I thought there were some lines he delivered as well that were hilarious, but then there was some jokes, as we also pointed out, that didn't quite land, didn't really hold up. Like at the very end of the movie, there was one extra joke that was kind of one too many. I felt they could have just wrapped it up on a nice way, but they had to squeeze in one more thing, and it just sort of didn't really land. But I don't know. I thought he was okay. You thought of some other casting options that you would have uh, had you been the casting director, who are some of the names you thought of that might be a better Amish bowling champion than Randy Quaid?
I'm forgetting some, but I will say a young Ben Stiller. I could see
Hmm.
him with the kind of bowl cut, hamming it up a bit, which naturally made me think of from Dumb and Dumber, not Jim Carrey, but
Jeff
Bridges.
Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, sorry, Jeff Daniels would have been a great one, but it would have been
Mhm.
a very similar character. And then a strange casting you didn't necessarily agree with, but I think Sean Penn could have played it off at that
And that
age in that role against type would have been something to see.
Wow, that is so against type. I don't even know where to begin with that. Like that, I was flummoxed when you said the
Yeah, you
you
were.
thought
It was the first one
Sean
I
Penn.
brought out.
I was like, wow, okay. I mean, yeah. In an alternate universe, it'd be amazing to see what that would look like against
Yeah.
like to play off of Woody and Bill Murray. I mean, let's be real. He is who he is for a good reason, and his character Ernie McCracken was absolutely friggin' diabolical, but also just kind of lovable in like a really
Yeah.
douchey kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he did that commercial where he was like, fathering, trying to be a father to boys who needed a father but they all had hot moms, and he shows up with the commercial, he's like, he had to be there to help these kids. And then one of the kids was like, oh, sometimes when I wake up, Mr. McCracken's already there. And he just has this kind of he has
Yes.
that nice little moment with like the four ladies. It was just brilliant. It was really really well done. And at the end, uh, he's in the tournament. His hair is starting to come unglued, and there were
Great.
scenes with and Woody Harrelson, same thing. He had shorter, balding, but it was also going crazy at the end, which I also thought was kind of a funny sight gag.
It
You
was.
know, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate for those who are in that situation, but there was a scene where Ernie's hair was like literally standing like 2 feet above his, like
It
the
was
one
so good.
strip was 2 feet straight up in the air. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so good. So if we have to give a star rating to this, what's your star rating on Kingpin?
I think it holds up really well. Aside from a couple of misses, I think that's a 4 out of 5. I mean, I would be happy to show that to anybody
Yeah,
if I were
it
doing
was a
that.
good movie. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I had a bit more of a critique. So I feel like I have to
Sure.
step it back.
Yeah.
As longtime listeners will know, Dolph Lundgren appearing in your film automatically gets you an extra half star. He did not appear in this film, so they don't get that half star. So stay tuned. Dolph Timber coming up for 2025. I have some ideas how we're going to celebrate it this year.
That's
I'll
super
tell you about
exciting.
it. I'll tell you about it.
All right. Well, let's get into our second shot, Jay, and then you can let's launch off into whatever direction we want to. We got some rip from the headlines. We got some more updates, whatever it is you want. But in the meantime, I'm going to raise a toast to you with our first ever video offering of the show. It's Jameson Triple Triple.
And I'm coming in with another Jameson Triple Triple as well.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, sharp.
Mm.
Sharper on mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a little sharper the second time.
All right. Hey, let's get into rip from the headlines. I'm going to bring some up for listeners and viewers. Rip from the headlines is a simple premise. Barry usually sends me the headlines. That's part of your responsibility in prepping for the show. I just have a quick look at them. We never go beyond the headline. These come usually from BBC, but they can come from anywhere. And I'll read the headline from my phone that you sent it to me in, and we will go from there. Okay?
Sounds
You
fantastic.
you ready for this? All right, I'm just going to glance down and read this. There's a picture of a chin, and it says, "Ooh, the body parts evolution still can't explain. What might
And
those parts be?"
well, I guess we could start with the chin. Like, I
Yeah.
don't
Like the
But how
dimple?
was
Like
that?
the divot, maybe?
I was thinking like the whether it's elongated or not. I don't know. Again, maybe we should start now that we're kind of
No,
turning over a new leaf. We should perhaps look a little further than the headline because I mean, how could the chin be unexplained? I mean, that's part of the face, part of the head of the human being. It'd be look pretty
yeah.
strange if people didn't have chins, you know?
Look strange. For visually, yes, but for a purpose, like a jaw, I get. Is this the chin? Is that the weighted part of a jaw to help give it some extra heft? What might that be for, I wonder?
It's probably for attracting females or showing how tough you are against the other hunter gatherers in your tribe.
A
I don't
chin?
know. Perhaps.
How does a chin attract a female? Like a sturdy jawline?
I
Like
don't know. You
that?
should. Jay Leno would be the guy to ask because he's got the most legendary chin out of anybody, and he's a happily married man of like 40 years. So,
That's true. What other body part, Barry, would you say evolution cannot explain if you had to pick one?
boy, you're putting me on the spot here.
I sure am.
That's a good one. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I think all the other body parts are explained. They're accounted for. They make sense. I even think the chin does. So I'm not sure I even agree with the headline. Doesn't matter what I think. What do you think, Jay?
Well, that's a great point. I'm wondering about the five toes on the foot. Why did there need to be five toes on the foot? And the hand. Like, how did that happen to be? I get the hand, I get the opposable thumb, but who came up with five? Why not four or three or
That's a
six?
six might have been more stability, but it would have looked very strange.
Yeah.
Again, I think these are just
Maybe.
cosmetic things that we're looking at through the lens of someone from 2025. But if you were maybe a hunter gatherer, you would have loved to have an extra toe. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Maybe counting to 10 is good because it's quick, like on the hands. You just flash them. That's 10. It's a nice round number.
Yep, could
So
see
maybe
that.
we were thinking ahead to commerce as we evolved. I've
Yeah,
heard
I
I've
don't disagree.
I've heard that the baby toe might be drifting away, like they're getting smaller, less pronounced, like perhaps that may fold into the foot in some way. Have you heard this?
I'm no, I haven't. I'm glad I haven't because that sounds like nightmare fuel. Having
Yeah.
your baby toe getting absorbed into the foot is just kind of the whole idea is grotesque.
In real time, like it's
Yeah,
happening in real time. That would be great.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
And it just happens when you're set for your pool date. You're ready to sit there. You're next thing you know, and you got four toes. It's a bit weird.
It is weird. All right,
Yeah,
Barry, I'm going to go to another headline. How about that?
please do.
This one's got a picture of the Hollywood sign on it, and the
Yeah,
headline, and only the headline, is as follows: Why, not how, why Alice Cooper saved the Hollywood sign? What are you thinking?
I didn't even know
Why?
he was involved in saving it. I didn't know it needs saving.
Nope.
So this is
So,
wild. I know it was restored at one point because
yeah.
it was starting to fall apart and look kind of crappy.
Maybe he did that. Maybe he funded it or brought a can of paint and helped paint. Why would he do that, though? Why the Hollywood sign? Why would Alice Cooper, of all
And
people?
why Alice Cooper and why not some like the head of Warner Brothers or somebody
Yeah.
in the film industry would maybe want to do that?
Tell
I
me
don't
what
know.
you're thinking.
I mean, if I was Alice Cooper, this guy also has a lot of money. And I think when eventually you get to a point where you've bought everything, you've
Yeah.
done most everything, what's left? Yeah, I could
Yeah,
save
that's a
the
good.
Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I mean, that's something to put in your portfolio of assets.
Yeah, yeah. I saw Alice Cooper a number of years ago when I went to see Guns N' Roses. You
Yeah.
were at that concert.
I was not. I don't remember Alice Cooper opening for Guns N'
Really?
Roses.
Oh, no, sorry, Motley Crue. I saw him when he opened for Motley Crue on what was to have been one of their farewell tours,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of giant, like, props on stage with him, like a giant Frankenstein and a giant, like, kinda dancing around. So I think he likes gigantic things. So for me, why
Ah,
he might have saved the Hollywood sign, it's a gigantic novelty kinda thing.
right. Well,
So
that ties up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, gigantic things, and he's got gigantic amounts of money, I would assume, if he's managed it well, and so perhaps that's why he saved the Hollywood sign.
I mean, I think we should just go with that. Makes
Yeah,
sense. I'd like to know what other signs he owns.
that would be a good question for him if we ever have him
Yeah.
on the show.
Because, I mean, the Hollywood sign would be the pinnacle of your collection, one would think, if you were a sign buyer.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what else could it be? Would be
Pure
bigger than that.
sci-fi. And you remember, or did you know that the Hollywood sign used to say Hollywood Land?
Yes, I only learned that from
Yeah.
watching Ben Affleck's take on the real Superman, the first guy who played Superman who killed himself.
Yeah. George Reeves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's where I
Interesting.
remember
I
that
never
from.
saw that movie, but yeah, I think it was like because it was a real estate development called Hollywood Land or something. I think, and that was like the real estate developer sign, and then they kept up Hollywood. I believe that's what I think it was. Do you remember from the movie? Would you like to maybe we'll take a
I
pause? You
don't.
can go start it, fire it up in the old 4K.
I don't own the
You know,
movie.
on that one.
I found I do remember it not being the most uplifting picture I've ever seen in my life. So
Yeah.
it was kind of
Okay.
depressing
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he wasn't playing Superman. He was like it was Superman when he's not in the costume and the kind of not so nice life that he had.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to use this as an opportunity to take a perfect jump off point. As always, you set things up. And I want
Thank
to
you.
tease next week's show because something very special is happening, Superman related, that is going to lead into next week's episode. Do you want to let our audience know?
Yes, I will. Our one of our favorites on the show, favorite guest probably of all time, is Rob Peets, the movie guy. He will be returning next week, or sorry, it'll be the week after. But he will be in studio to record with us because we do one episode a week, and he will be discussing with me and Jason. You're actually seeing this one in the theater, not with us, but you're
Yeah.
seeing it, which I'm excited about. Superman. I don't know. There's getting some. I've read a couple of mixed things. I was also wrong about the runtime, Jay. I have to correct myself. I thought it was only an hour 37. Looked it up today. It's like 207.
Okay.
So it's a
Got it.
little longer than our preferred runtime, but I don't know. I don't want to say but because it might just be fantastic. And you're like, I don't want this to end. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. And I'd say it's a pretty regular runtime. At least that's what I would expect from it. I was so excited when you said 137. I was like, wow, a short movie that's going to get to the point. But either way, Superman is my favorite superhero. I grew up loving Superman. I've always
Hmm.
gone to see Superman movies in the theater. So executive
Makes
producer
sense.
Aldo Roma and I are going to be doing that on the Saturday. You're doing it Saturday or the Friday? You're going to see it.
We're doing it Friday night in IMAX. You're doing it at the VIP luxury
Yeah.
theater.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to compare that as well experiences.
Uh-huh.
And then coming hot off of that, Rob's going to be right here in studio. We're going to be taking you through a spoiler-free review of this Superman movie.
Hang on, mostly spoiler free,
Spoiler
I
light.
think.
Spoiler light.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We won't tell you the end, but there might be a couple of nuggets we won't be able to resist.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We'll let you know.
yeah. Jay, I don't know about you, but this feels like a neat and tidy, complete episode. Thank you very much for giving us this ability to do video. This is kind of cool. This is a new tool that we have in our repertoire now, and hopefully we can, come to you each and every week now in whatever format you happen to prefer. If you want to watch us, you can. If you just want to listen, you can do that too.
Yeah. Check us out. We are
Freedom.
freedom. Check us out. We are on all of your podcast platforms. If you're listening now and you want to check out the visual sample, check us out on YouTube. We've got our YouTube channel there, and we're going to be putting up every episode. Right now, only our very first episode is up, just the audio. I put that up in 2021. So surprisingly,
Wow.
we're not the top YouTube channel yet, but
Yeah.
we will be after this episode goes up, I'm sure.
Right on, Jay. Thank you for being with us, viewers, listeners from all over the globe. We love you, and we'll be with you again next week.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.